Then both of them turned to me, immediately.
Jade, you're going to take the blame.
Excuse me?
Sweetie, your future can handle a little bump. Liam's can't.
A bump? A human was hit.
The police will be here any minute. Say you were driving.
No! Liam's eyes widened, shocked that his magical immunity was cracking.
Jade, come on, you always take the fall.
Not today. My parents looked betrayed. Like I was the monster. 5 minutes later, the police knocked. And for the first time in my life, I didn't fold. I stood behind the officers, arms crossed, while Liam tried to hide behind my parents. The police questioned us. My parents lied. Liam lied. But the evidence didn't. The disabled boy's mother had seen Liam driving, and the car seat was set to his height. They arrested Liam on the spot. My mother screamed like they were kidnapping her.
Take Jade instead. Take her. She can handle it.
Even the officers paused. One whispered to the other.
Did she just try to donate her daughter to jail?
My name is Jade, and if you had asked anyone in my family who the favorite child was, they wouldn't even pretend. It was Liam. Always Liam. The sun rose for him, the birds sang for him, and apparently the law didn't apply to him either. I used to joke that he could stab someone and my parents would blame the knife manufacturer. But even my jokes couldn't predict how real things would get. Growing up, I learned very early what golden child meant. Not from books or psychology videos, but from living in the circus itself. Liam was 2 years younger than me. He wasn't evil, just allergic to consequences. And my parents acted like consequences were toxic chemicals Liam shouldn't breathe. Some kids have baby books or albums. My mom had a shrine for Liam. My pictures, probably lining the birdcage. One of the earliest memories. I was 7 when Liam smashed the living room TV with a plastic sword like he was slaying a dragon. My dad walked in right as the screen cracked.
Jade, what did you do?
I didn't touch it. Liam dropped the sword and pointed at me like a courtroom prosecutor.
She told me to hit it. She said she'd take my dessert.
My mom clutched her pearls like I'd committed a felony.
Jade, why would you encourage violence?
I didn't even know what encourage meant yet, but that became my first week without cartoons. Liam once dumped our neighbor's goldfish into the toilet to see if it could swim faster. The neighbor came over furious, holding the empty bowl. Before I could blink, my parents dragged me into the living room.
Jade, apologize, now.
But I didn't do anything. Liam fake sobbed dramatically.
She said the fish wanted freedom. I didn't want to, but she made me.
Jade, forcing your brother to do cruel things is unacceptable.
I had to write a 2-page apology letter for a fish I'd never even met. But the moments only got worse. There was the day Liam stole the neighbor's Amazon package. Not candy, not toys, a whole package. The neighbor, Mrs. Collins, who always smelled like cinnamon and rage, stormed to our front door, clutching the empty box.
Someone took my delivery, and the trail of packaging leads straight to your backyard.
My dad looked at Liam, crumbs of bubble wrap literally stuck to his hoodie, then turned to Mrs. Collins with a boldness that should have been illegal.
Well, it must have been Jade.
What? I didn't even go outside. Liam shrugged, pretending to chew something.
Sorry, Jade. You shouldn't have done that.
I wanted to fling myself into a volcano. Then came the doghouse incident. Liam accidentally set the neighbor's doghouse on fire. Accidentally. The flames were taller than him. Mrs. Collins returned, this time shaking.
Your son burned my dog's house down.
My mom, without blinking, rebellious.
Are you sure it wasn't Jade? She's been rebellious lately.
I'd gotten a C in math. Every single day felt like a drama series where I wasn't the main character. I was the scapegoat with bad camera lighting. When I turned 16, my parents forced me to get a part-time job to help the family. Not Liam. Oh no. He needed to focus on school. Focus on what? Failing gym? So I worked at a grocery store, scanning items for customers who acted like I'd personally offended them by breathing too loud. I came home tired, smelling like expired bananas, only to find Liam playing video games on the living room TV I wasn't allowed to touch. And my parents had the audacity to say,
Jade, why can't you be more helpful around the house like Liam?
Helpful. Liam once microwaved a metal fork and caused a blackout. But nothing prepared me for the day everything snapped. It started on a Saturday afternoon. I was in my room pretending homework mattered when I heard a loud crash outside. Moments later, the front door burst open and Liam stumbled in, pale and shaking.
Don't freak out! Don't freak out!
My parents sprinted downstairs.
Baby, what happened?
Liam gulped.
I took Dad's car for a quick ride and I hit someone.
Everything inside me dropped. What? He kept talking fast, like if he slowed down, the truth might catch up to him.
I didn't mean to. He came out of nowhere. He's a disabled boy. I panicked, so I drove home.
My mom covered her mouth. My dad paced like he was trying to outrun reality. Then both of them turned to me, immediately.
Jade, you're going to take the blame.
Excuse me?
Sweetie, your future can handle a little bump. Liam's can't.
A bump? A human was hit.
The police will be here any minute. Say you were driving.
No! Liam's eyes widened, shocked that his magical immunity was cracking.
Jade, come on, you always take the fall.
Not today. My parents looked betrayed. Betrayed. Like I was the monster. 5 minutes later, the police knocked. And for the first time in my life, I didn't fold. I stood behind the officers, arms crossed, while Liam tried to hide behind my parents. The police questioned us. My parents lied. Liam lied. But the evidence didn't. The disabled boy's mother had seen Liam driving, and the car seat was set to his height. They arrested Liam on the spot. My mother screamed like they were kidnapping her.
Take Jade instead. Take her. She can handle it.
Even the officers paused. One whispered to the other.
Did she just try to donate her daughter to jail? This family needs therapy.
After Liam was taken away, my parents turned on me like vampires.
Get out. We don't have a daughter anymore.
You're dead to us.
And just like that, at 17, I was kicked out with one backpack and my dignity. Good thing my grandmother loved me like a real human being. I moved in with her. Tiny house, peeling wallpaper, warm hugs. I worked 2 jobs, waitressing and stocking shelves. I studied hard, saved every penny, and refused to become the loser they predicted I'd be. Meanwhile, Liam lived like an Olympic athlete of bad decisions. My parents bailed him out, bought him a car, paid for therapy he didn't attend. He got a girlfriend, Sierra, a pretty girl. They dated for 2 months before Liam got her pregnant. My mom called me, first time in years.
Your brother is going to be a father. Isn't that wonderful?
Sure, who's raising the baby? Doesn't seem like Liam should even raise a houseplant. Then came the twist no one foresaw. Sierra gave birth to a disabled baby boy. She took one look at him, panicked, and disappeared from the hospital. Vanished like a Snapchat message. My mother ended up raising the baby. Years passed. I graduated college, got a good job, leveled up my life. Meanwhile, Liam spiraled into drugs, started hanging with a local gang. No one was surprised except my parents, who believed Liam was an angel who got lost. Right. Then came the bank robbery. His gang planned it. It went wrong, spectacularly wrong. One of Liam's friends got shot on the spot. Liam barely escaped and fled home. He hid in the basement while my parents acted like nothing happened. 2 days later, police came knocking.
We have reason to believe Liam was involved in the robbery.
My dad sweating.
He's not here.
The officers didn't buy it, but they didn't have a warrant. Yet. Then at 3 a.m., the SWAT team returned. The door flew off its hinges. Cops flooded the house. They dragged Liam out of the basement, kicking and screaming. My dad tried to intervene, and they cuffed him too, for harboring a fugitive. My mom sat on the couch clutching the disabled baby, crying so hard her nose made whistling noises. Liam and Dad both got long prison sentences. My mom was left alone, with a disabled child she didn't know how to raise, no income, and no husband. So she did what she always did when life hit her. She called me. I let the phone ring, day after day, week after week. One day she left a voicemail, voice shaky.
Jade, we need help. I need help. I'm sorry for how things were. Please, call me back. Call me.
but I'd spent years stitching myself together, years breaking the cycle, years healing. She chose her golden child over me every time. And now that the gold faded, I was supposed to polish it? No thanks. I blocked her number, moved forward, without them. Today I live in a beautiful apartment with soft lighting, plants that don't die, and a job that doesn't make me cry in the bathroom. My grandmother passed, but I know she'd be proud. Sometimes I hear updates. Mom still cares for Sierra's child. Dad and Liam are prison legends. The father-son fugitives. Neighbors laugh remembering the times Liam burned doghouses and stole packages. Me? I laugh too. Because I finally got justice, not by revenge plots or dramatic showdowns, but by simply escaping, living well, succeeding, and letting karma handle the heavy lifting. And trust me, karma is undefeated. If you enjoyed my story, smash that like button, subscribe for more chaos, and remember, if your parents ever try to frame you for a hit and run, just say no. It's free, and apparently it ruins their whole career path. Thanks for watching.
I've had enough of your nonsense. You people don't know how to behave. Such inferior animals. What do you mean, you people? I asked, my voice steady but loud enough for the camera to pick up. I guessed that would probably exactly what was needed to tip him over his breaking point. Don't play dumb, Tyson. You know exactly what I mean. Just stop. He started pacing the room, throwing insults left and right. When Mia tried to answer a question, he interrupted her. Kids like you will never amount to anything anyway. Your kind is only good in sports. You're trying my patience. Just shut up and pay attention. And then, the moment we'd been waiting for, he snapped. He picked up a book and hurled it at Jordan, who ducked just in time. Then he turned to me, stormed over, and slapped me across the face. Then he said, "Imagine if the slave trade didn't happen. Some of you wouldn't even be here." All the while, he was calling us names and using slurs that I refused to repeat. The classroom fell silent. No one dared to move. Then, just as the tension reached its peak, the door opened and in walked the principal, Ms. Reynolds. Hi there, my name is Tyson, and this is the story of what happened to me when I was younger and in the 4th grade. It was quite a year that was full of excitement and chaos. It all started on the first day of school. I'd spent the summer imagining how awesome the year would be. New subjects, new friends, and a brand new teacher. But then I met Mr. Ford. At first glance, Mr. Ford looked like any other teacher. Tall, graying hair, glasses that always seemed to slide down his nose. But it didn't take long to realize that he wasn't like any teacher I'd ever had before. Up to that point in my life, I had never met someone like him. Someone that very clearly didn't like kids like me. Kids who looked like me. And by kids like me, I mean black kids. All right, class, welcome to the 4th grade. I expect discipline and respect in my classroom. Let's see if any of you can meet my standards. Seems like there are a lot of potential troublemakers this year. It was such a strange thing to say. I knew the majority of the kids in the class, and aside from 1 or 2 of them. Like me, they were all pretty good kids. At first I was confused, but I just assumed that he was either joking or that he was just very strict. But as the weeks went on, it became clear that his standards were different, depending on who you were. For example, one day we had a math test. I studied hard for it and felt confident about my answers. When Mr. Ford handed back the tests, I was stunned to see a big red F at the top of mine. I flipped through the pages, comparing my answers to my friend Jake's paper. Jake, who is white, had given the exact same answers as me, but he got an A. "Mr. Ford, I think there's been a mistake. I checked my answers, and I think you made a mistake." "You think so, huh?" "Well, no, I made no mistake, Tyson. Maybe if you paid more attention, you'd do better." "But I compared my answers to Jake, and you marked them correct on his paper." "Well, then I would chalk it up to your very poor handwriting. Maybe if you would write your answers down legibly, I would have marked them correct. That's all on you." My stomach churned. I wanted to argue, but the look on his face told me it wouldn't matter. It wasn't just me either. Other black kids in the class, like my friends Mia and Jordan, started noticing the same pattern. No matter how hard we tried, our work was never good enough for Mr. Ford. Things got worse as the weeks went on. Mr. Ford wasn't just unfair, he was outright cruel and racist. I remember one day in class, Mr. Ford asked me if I could speak to monkeys. The whole class burst into laughter. I was so embarrassed that I felt sad all day. To make matters worse, he had a terrible temper and would lose his cool easily. If one of us answered a question wrong, he'd throw a piece of chalk or even a book at us. He usually missed, but from time to time, he actually hurt one of us. Wrong again, Tyson. Why am I not surprised? Why do you people always say such stupid things? It was at that point that Mr. Ford threw a large piece of chalk at me. The piece hit me in the face just below my right eye.
You can't do that. That's not fair.
Sit down, Mia, unless you want detention for talking back. Although maybe you should get detention. After all, it would be good practice for when you'll undoubtedly end up in prison later in life. I could feel the tension in the room. The sneer on Mr. Ford's face made him look very menacing and hostile. We all finally knew what was happening, but we didn't know what to do about it. That's when Jordan came up with an idea. What if we record him? Like, what if we do a live stream and show what he's doing, so everyone can see it? We can send out notifications to all our friends and family members and let them know to watch the live stream. You mean, set up a hidden camera? Number. We'll just use one of our phones. We'll prop it up where he can't see it and stream the class. He does something awful every day, so we're pretty much guaranteed to catch something bad.
But what if we get caught?
What's the worst that can happen? He already treats us like garbage. We've got nothing to lose. And maybe we get lucky and he does something really bad and gets fired? It was risky, but we all agreed it was worth a shot. The next day, we set up Mia's phone, my phone, and Jordan's as well. We decided that there was a chance that Mr. Ford might notice one phone and confiscate it, but there was less likely of a chance that he would notice all three. We set them up in the corners of the room, angled just right to capture Mr. Ford's behavior. Then we waited. It didn't take long for Mr. Ford to lose his cool. We started pushing back, asking questions we knew would irritate him. Jordan deliberately gave wrong answers, and Mia challenged his corrections. Within minutes, Mr. Ford's face turned bright red. It was clear that he was very close to exploding. I've had enough of your nonsense. You people don't know how to behave. Such inferior animals. What do you mean, you people? I asked, my voice steady but loud enough for the camera to pick up. I guessed that would probably exactly what was needed to tip him over his breaking point. Don't play dumb, Tyson. You know exactly what I mean. Just stop. He started pacing the room, throwing insults left and right. When Mia tried to answer a question, he interrupted her. Kids like you will never amount to anything anyway. Your kind is only good in sports. You're trying my patience. Just shut up and pay attention. And then, the moment we'd been waiting for, he snapped. He picked up a book and hurled it at Jordan, who ducked just in time. Then he turned to me, stormed over, and slapped me across the face. Then he said, "Imagine if the slave trade didn't happen. Some of you wouldn't even be here." All the while, he was calling us names and using slurs that I refused to repeat. The classroom fell silent. No one dared to move. Then, just as the tension reached its peak, the door opened and in walked the principal, Ms. Reynolds.
Mr. Ford, please come with me.
What's this about? I'm in the middle of a lesson.
We'll discuss it in my office. Now please follow me right now. Children, please just stay here. We won't be longer than a few minutes.
He followed her out, still looking baffled. As soon as the door closed, Mia grabbed her phone and ended the live stream. We knew we'd done it. Word spread quickly, and by the end of the day, the entire school knew about what had happened. Later, we found out that one of the parents who had been watching the live stream showed up at the school. They confronted Mr. Ford while he waited in the principal's office. The parent barged in and got into a physical fight with Mr. Ford, leaving him bruised and battered before the police arrived. We also heard that Mr. Ford was arrested for child abuse and that he was fired from his job. The live stream was shared online, and the footage went viral. People from all over the country were outraged. But karma wasn't done with him just yet. His wife, after seeing the live stream and having to endure the fallout from it, ended up divorcing him, taking their kids, and moving far away. Years later, when Mr. Ford got out of prison, he found that he couldn't escape his past. Everywhere he went, people recognized him. He changed his name and moved to another country, but no matter where he went, someone always found out who he was. He never found peace again and could never hold down a job for more than a few months at a time. As for me, I kept track of every time he had to move. Each time I heard about it, I felt a sense of justice. What he did to us was unforgivable, and now he continues paying the price for it every single day. Now you may think that what we did to him and the joy I feel about how much he is suffering isn't justified, but I doubt that we were the first class to deal with his racist behavior, so I feel completely justified with what happened to him. Oddly enough, Jordan and Mia are still friends of mine, and just the other day we were talking about old Mr. Ford.
Do you ever feel bad for him? I know he was racist and cruel, but he's suffered a lot.
Not for a second. He deserves every bit of it. Just think about how many kids he must have traumatized in the decades that he spent teaching. People like him just spread their hatred and anger everywhere. It's sad, really. At least now, he can't hurt any more children. And I meant it. Some people might call it petty, but to me, it was justice. Mr. Ford ruined what should have been one of the best years of our young lives. Thanks for watching. I knew Leon liked stealing food, so I brought lunch again. But this time, it wasn't just any jollof rice. I mixed in a few crushed tablets of Factoogle, a powerful laxative, enough to get an elephant dancing on the toilet. Sure enough, at 12:13 p.m., I watched from the security camera logs as Leon snuck into the fridge, looked around, and took my Tupperware. By 12:55 p.m., he was waddling toward the restroom. At 1:10, he left. At 1:22, he returned. By 2 p.m., he stopped trying to hide it. He basically moved into the bathroom. I could hear the flushes echoing through the vents, one after the other. The whole office was buzzing. Man, Leon's got a symphony going in there.
Did he catch food poisoning?
Guess Karma finally ate his lunch. But Leon didn't suspect Karma. He suspected me. Maybe he saw the way I smirked when he shuffled past. Or maybe he remembered stealing my food. So he marched over the next day, eyes bloodshot from dehydration. You think this is funny, Marcus? What's funny? Don't play dumb. You tampered with your food. If I tampered with it, why'd you eat it? He couldn't answer. But 2 days later, HR called me in. Said I was being investigated for poisoning a coworker. I was suspended, then fired. No severance. No pay for the 320+ hours of overtime I had logged. But that wasn't the end. You ever give everything to a job, time, sweat, pride, and get spat in the face for it? That was me. I worked in IT at a mid-sized tech company called Virex Solutions, a place where talent was milked dry and tossed aside. My manager, Leon, was the kind of man who'd make hell look like a 5-star resort. Leon was the toxic core of Virex. Bullying wasn't a side effect, it was his favorite tool. Not just the usual office crap either. No, this guy made sure to get creative. One freezing January morning, he forced Tim, a nervous intern barely out of college, to walk his Great Dane in the middle of a snowstorm. If you want to learn discipline, you'll do it. The dog needs a walk, and I'm not going out in this weather. Tim begged, shivering in his thin jacket, but Leon just laughed and tossed him the leash. Hours later, Tim returned blue-faced and nearly frostbitten. Another time, during a major system outage, instead of helping, Leon ordered the entire team to stay in the office without heat because comfort breeds laziness. If you're cold code faster, people caught colds, some even fainted. But Leon? He just gloated like a schoolyard bully who won every fight. I was pulling 60, sometimes 70-hour weeks, fixing servers, patching code, solving system-wide crashes before dawn. But Leon? He refused to authorize my overtime pay. We don't pay for passion, Marcus. Be grateful you still have a job. That was his mantra. Every time someone asked about overtime, compensation, even recognition, that's what he said. Be grateful. Like we were beggars and he was the king handing out scraps. But that wasn't the worst of it. He humiliated us. Once, he dragged a junior dev, Kathy, into the break room just to yell at her for a tiny error in a report he hadn't even let her finish. How does someone screw up sorting data? My 6-year-old nephew could do better. Kathy cried for 3 days, then quit. Another time, during peak flu season, Devin came down with a fever so high he could barely stand. He called in sick, but Leon wouldn't have it. If you're breathing, you're working, no excuses. Devin dragged himself in, coughing, eyes watery, wrapped in a scarf. By the end of the week, half the department was sniffling, some bedridden. Leon didn't just avoid responsibility, he actually blamed Devin for infecting the office. This is what happens when people don't take care of themselves. Next time, stay home before you infect us all. The hypocrisy was suffocating. We all knew Devin had begged to stay home. Another time, Devin, our lead network guy, presented a solution that cut downtime by 30%. At the next department meeting, guess who took credit? I stayed up all weekend planning this. Glad it paid off. He stole food from the communal fridge too. Yeah, like a damn gremlin. Once, I brought in home-cooked jollof rice, seasoned with grilled beef and fried plantains. When I went to fetch it during lunch, it was gone. I caught him scraping my Tupperware clean. You IT guys have nothing better to do than label food? That wasn't even the first time. He ate Kathy's cheesecake once, on her birthday. Then fired Aaron, our help desk guy, for insubordination when Aaron asked for sick leave. So when Leon refused to authorize my overtime for the 5th month straight, something in me snapped. I was done being civil. I was done swallowing my pride and smiling. I'm an IT guy, quiet, observant, and very, very dangerous when you screw me over. So I plotted. One afternoon, just as I was about to leave, Leon called me into his office. The door clicked shut behind me. His face was pale, eyes darting nervously. Marcus, I don't know what you're up to, but be careful. You don't want to make this personal. You mean aside from denying me thousands of dollars in overtime, stealing food, and humiliating everyone here? You don't know what you're messing with. I have friends on the board. People who owe me favors. Cross me, and you'll regret it. I sat back and smiled. I knew he was bluffing, or at least, I hoped so. But just then, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Don't push too hard. You're playing a dangerous game. Leon smirked. He thought he'd rattled me. What he didn't know was that I was already several moves ahead. That message only proved one thing. My plan was working. And the closer he got to trying to scare me off, the closer I was to finishing this game and winning. I knew Leon liked stealing food, so I brought lunch again. But this time, it wasn't just any jollof rice. I mixed in a few crushed tablets of Factoogle, a powerful laxative, enough to get an elephant dancing on the toilet. Sure enough, at 12:13 p.m., I watched from the security camera logs as Leon snuck into the fridge, looked around, and took my Tupperware. By 12:55 p.m., he was waddling toward the restroom. At 1:10, he left. At 1:22, he returned. By 2 p.m., he stopped trying to hide it. He basically moved into the bathroom. I could hear the flushes echoing through the vents, one after the other. The whole office was buzzing. Man, Leon's got a symphony going in there.
Did he catch food poisoning?
Guess Karma finally ate his lunch. But Leon didn't suspect Karma. He suspected me. Maybe he saw the way I smirked when he shuffled past. Or maybe he remembered stealing my food. So he marched over the next day, eyes bloodshot from dehydration. You think this is funny, Marcus? What's funny? Don't play dumb. You tampered with your food. If I tampered with it, why'd you eat it? He couldn't answer. But 2 days later, HR called me in. Said I was being investigated for poisoning a coworker. I was suspended, then fired. No severance. No pay for the 320+ hours of overtime I had logged. But that wasn't the end. You don't spend years in IT without collecting insurance. You see, Leon was dumb. He used weak passwords, repeated them, stored personal photos on his work device, and accessed shady websites from his work laptop. And, like any good IT guy with admin privileges, I kept logs. But it wasn't the adult content that got me leverage. It was the emails. I'd cloned backups of project folders, including one marked confidential. It contained emails between Leon and a third-party vendor. He'd been funneling contracts to his cousin's fake consultancy, charging the company inflated prices and taking a cut under the table. I had PDFs, invoices, bank statements. He'd made over $47,000 in a year, rerouting procurement. So I emailed him. From an anonymous account. Anonymous email. Hi Leon, you owe me 320 hours of overtime. That's $9,600. You have until Friday to pay me. Otherwise, the board gets copies of your little side hustle. And don't bother tracing this email. I built the tunnel myself. He didn't reply, but the next day, I got a transfer to my personal PayPal. Exactly $9,600. No name, no message. But I wasn't done. He cost me my job, my reputation. I wanted him humiliated. I compiled a full report of his fraud, printed everything, burned it to a flash drive, then mailed it, anonymously, to the company's founder, Mrs. Grace Weller, a woman who built Virex from nothing and despised corruption. Within a week, the office was buzzing.
Something's happening. Leon hasn't shown up in 2 days.
Then I got a call from Grace.
I've reviewed the evidence. I believe you were wrongfully terminated.
I agree.
Would you come back if offered a promotion? You'd report directly to me.
I'll think about it. I made her wait 2 days before saying yes. When I walked back into the office, the looks were priceless, mouths gaping. Janet dropped her coffee. And Leon? Fired. The board never mentioned why. They kept it quiet. Said he left due to personal reasons. But everyone knew. Devin told me Leon showed up one morning and was escorted out. He looked pale, sweaty, like he'd seen a ghost. He didn't tell a soul he'd been blackmailed. He was too proud, too scared to admit an IT guy outsmarted him. I became head of IT, got a 40% raise. The company implemented better food policies and installed fridge cameras, just for fun. Kathy called me and said she heard what happened.
You are a legend. He ruined so many lives. Thank you.
I didn't need thanks. I had justice, but I wasn't content with just getting him fired. I wanted to salt the earth he walked on so nothing would grow for him again. I compiled every damning piece of evidence I had. Fraudulent invoices, the confidential vendor emails, even internal HR complaints that mysteriously went nowhere under his watch. Then, using a fresh burner email, I sent neatly packaged dossiers to every major recruiter, IT staffing agency, and professional network group I could find. The subject line was simple: hiring warning, proven fraud, and workplace abuse. No one replied, of course. They never do. But that was the beauty of it. The silence meant the poison was already in the well. Weeks later, word trickled back through old coworkers. Leon had tried to land another management job in the city. Each time, the interviews started strong, until someone made a few discreet phone calls. Then the offers evaporated. By month 3, he was desperate enough to take a part-time IT help desk job at a bargain store, a place where the servers were older than the staff, and the office was a folding table in the stockroom. And if the rumor mill was right, he'd also picked up a side gig walking dogs for actual pay this time. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The final cherry on top came when Janet called me, laughing so hard she had to catch her breath.
You won't believe this. Leon sold his BMW. Couldn't keep up the payments. Now he's driving some rusty Honda with a missing hubcap. And he moved into one of those shoebox apartments above the laundromat on 5th. The kind that smells like fabric softener and despair.
I didn't even try to hide my smile. This wasn't just revenge, it was career extinction. Sometimes revenge isn't about rage or destruction. Sometimes it's cold, calculated. It's watching the person who walked over you stumble into the trap they built for someone else. It's knowing that while they rot in shame, you rise. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more amazing stories.
Mom had always been the balance, the soft hand that protected us. With her gone, there was nothing to soften Dad's harshness. At 15, David fell seriously ill. He collapsed at school during practice. It turned out he had a rare blood disorder, and without a transfusion, he could die. The doctor explained clearly.
Sir, you're a match. We need you to donate blood immediately.
But Dad folded his arms and said,
He's not my son. He's adopted. Find someone else.
I remember the doctor staring at him, stunned, but I stepped forward. Take mine. He's my brother. The transfusion saved David's life. After that, our bond was sealed forever. 3 years later, on the morning of David's 18th birthday, I expected to wake up to the smell of cake, or at least a small celebration. Mom would have done that. But instead, I heard Dad's heavy footsteps stomping down the hallway. He burst into David's room at 6 a.m., his face twisted with contempt.
Get up! You're 18 now. That means you're not my responsibility anymore.
David sat up, rubbing his eyes, confused.
Dad, it's my birthday. Can't we at least... Birthday? You think I'm wasting money celebrating the day some stranger's mistake landed in my house? Pack your things and get out.
I stood in the doorway, my heart pounding. My name is Alina, and if there's one thing I learned early, it's that family isn't just about blood. My parents had struggled for years after marriage to have a baby. Mom told me once that she spent nights crying into her pillow while Dad just shrugged, saying maybe it wasn't meant to be. But Mom refused to give up on her dream of having a child. After many failed treatments and doctor visits, they decided to adopt. That's how David came into our lives. A 7-year-old boy with bright eyes and a quiet smile. He was timid at first, afraid to trust, but Mom loved him deeply, and soon he bloomed. Then, miraculously, 2 years later, Mom became pregnant with me. Everyone said it was a blessing, but that miracle also became the dividing line in our family. From the very beginning, Dad made it clear I was his real child. But David never made me feel like I was competing for love. He became my hero. He taught me to read, held my hand when I was scared, and even carried me to school on his rusty bicycle. Once, when I was 7, a group of boys surrounded me at school, making fun of my braids and calling me ugly. David, who was 13 then, came storming in like a lion.
Touch her again and I'll make you regret it.
The boys scattered. That was the kind of brother he was. Blood or not, he was family in every way that mattered. But Dad? He always drew the line. When David asked for new shoes, Dad said coldly,
Secondhand shoes will do for you.
When I needed something, he always found a way to provide. But David was brushed aside, dismissed like he didn't deserve better. After Mom passed away, it got worse. I was 9. David was 16. Dad seemed to blame David for everything. Once, when David accidentally broke a glass while washing dishes, Dad slapped him so hard his lip bled.
You're nothing but a clumsy mistake. We should never have brought into this house.
Another time, when David was accepted into the school's football team and needed some money for a kit, Dad laughed in his face.
Why waste money on you? You'll never be good at anything.
Mom had always been the balance, the soft hand that protected us. With her gone, there was nothing to soften Dad's harshness. At 15, David fell seriously ill. He collapsed at school during practice. It turned out he had a rare blood disorder, and without a transfusion, he could die. The doctor explained clearly.
Sir, you're a match. We need you to donate blood immediately.
But Dad folded his arms and said,
He's not my son. He's adopted. Find someone else.
I remember the doctor staring at him, stunned. But I stepped forward. Take mine. He's my brother. The transfusion saved David's life. After that, our bond was sealed forever. 3 years later, on the morning of David's 18th birthday, I expected to wake up to the smell of cake, or at least a small celebration. Mom would have done that. But instead, I heard Dad's heavy footsteps stomping down the hallway. He burst into David's room at 6 a.m., his face twisted with contempt.
Get up! You're 18 now. That means you're not my responsibility anymore.
David sat up, rubbing his eyes, confused.
Dad, it's my birthday. Can't we at least... Birthday? You think I'm wasting money celebrating the day some stranger's mistake landed in my house? Pack your things and get out.
I stood in the doorway, my heart pounding, watching as Dad threw a suitcase onto David's bed.
Secondhand clothes are all you'll ever need. Take them and leave.
David's hands trembled as he stuffed his few belongings into the suitcase. He looked at me, his eyes shining with pain, then back at Dad.
I never asked to be here. Mom wanted me. She's the only one who ever treated me like her son. Don't you dare mention her. You're nothing to me. Get out before I throw you out.
He shoved David toward the door, slamming it behind him. I pressed my face against the window, tears streaming down my cheeks as I watched my brother walk away, his shoulders heavy with grief. After David left, Dad changed. He became even lazier, even more stingy. He stopped working entirely and started leaning on me for everything. When I was 16 and my sneakers had holes, I asked for new ones.
They're still good. Stop wasting money.
He patched them with duct tape and expected me to wear them proudly. Once, when we ran out of milk, he poured water into the carton to make it last. Another time, when I craved a birthday cake, he gave me a pack of stale biscuits and said,
Cake is too expensive. Sugar's bad for you anyway.
At 22, Dad sat me down one evening. His face was grave.
Sweetheart, I have cancer. The doctors say I don't have long.
Tears filled my eyes. Despite everything, he was still my father. No. Dad, are you serious?
I need you to take care of me. Hospital bills, food, everything. You're all I've got.
I believed him. Like a fool, I took on the burden. I worked 2 jobs to pay the rent, the bills, the food. I bought his medication, which I later realized was nothing but vitamins. I cleaned, cooked, washed him, all while he sat there comfortable. But something felt off. He never lost weight. He never looked weak. He ate more than ever. One day, digging behind the house to plant flowers, I found a box buried under the dirt. Inside were stacks of cash wrapped in rubber bands. Thousands. You don't have cancer, do you?
So what if I don't? You still did your duty as a daughter.
I've been breaking my back while you sit here hiding money underground?
That's right, and you're too soft to ever walk away.
But he was wrong. I packed my bags the next morning and moved in with David, who was now a successful businessman.
I told you, sis. He doesn't deserve you.
Dad later developed a small infection in his foot, but instead of using the money he had hoarded behind the house, he chose to save it. He refused to go to a real hospital and instead went to a cheap, unlicensed doctor.
Don't worry, old man. I'll take good care of you. No need to waste money on expensive hospitals.
The infection was minor and only needed simple medication, but the quack doctor put him under anesthesia. When Dad woke up, he discovered his leg had been amputated.
What have you done? I'll report you for this.
But before he could, the doctor fled the state. Limping and devastated, Dad returned home, only to discover that the money he had buried in the backyard had been stolen. Every last bill was gone. Broken. He tried reaching out to me and David, begging for help, but we cut him off. Alone and humiliated, he fell into a dark depression. Neighbors said he stopped eating, stopped speaking. And then, one night, he took his own life. Do I feel guilty? No, he chose this path. He hoarded love like he hoarded money, burying it until it rotted. David and I, on the other hand, are closer than ever. He's my brother, my family, and nothing will change that. And that's the story of how my stingy father faked cancer, lost everything, and ended up paying the ultimate price. Guess money doesn't grow legs, especially if you get the wrong one amputated. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because unlike my dad, I actually share the good stuff.
But something inside me broke forever. That child's face stayed with me. Every blink, every dream. And by the next morning, I knew I couldn't be part of them anymore. I told the gang I was done. I told them we needed to turn ourselves in, face the music, do something, anything, to make this right. But you know what they did? They shot me. Point blank. Left me in a ditch like a piece of trash. I still hear Ghost's voice echoing before they drove off. Should have kept your mouth shut, Trick. Everything went dark after that. The doctor said it was a miracle. I said it was pure spite. They say prison changes a man. Nah, prison just gives you time to think. And trust me, I got nothing but time now. Which is why I'm sitting on this thin mattress, telling you my story. Because if anyone out there ever wonders how I got here, why a man like me is smiling behind bars, this is it. This is the whole bloody, stupid, painful, satisfying story of how I took down the only family I ever knew. My gang, my brothers, my betrayers. There were 4 of us once. Me. They called me Trick. short for trick shot because of how good I was with aim. Then Ghost, Viper, and Diesel. We robbed banks, stole cars, ran drugs, terrorized half the city, but none of that mattered. Because the day everything changed, the day my life snapped in half like a rotten bone, was the day we shot that kid. Not we. They. And that's where I should begin. We hit a jewelry store downtown. Easy job. Or so we thought. But this time, the police showed up fast. Faster than any of us expected. Sirens screamed from everywhere. Cops stormed the entrance. Before any of us could react, bullets exploded through the glass. Ghost fired back immediately. Diesel joined in. Viper panicked and grabbed the nearest person he could find, a child, a kid no older than 10. He held the boy in front of him like a shield as the cops shouted at us to drop our weapons. I remember yelling, "Viper, what are you doing? That's a kid." "Shut up! They won't shoot if I have him!" But the cops kept advancing, voices commanding, guns raised, shouting louder, and then Viper panicked. He shoved the child forward and shot him point blank in the back. The mother screamed. The police froze, and I felt my entire soul tear in half. "Move! Get to the car!" They ran, and like an idiot, I ran with them. As we fled, Diesel fired wildly behind him, hitting 2 officers. I could hear one cop screaming in pain as he fell. Another yelled for backup. We sprinted to the car and escaped, but something inside me broke forever. That child's face stayed with me. Every blink, every dream. And by the next morning, I knew I couldn't be part of them anymore. I told the gang I was done. I told them we needed to turn ourselves in, face the music, do something, anything, to make this right. But you know what they did? They shot me. Point blank. Left me in a ditch like a piece of trash. I still hear Ghost's voice echoing before they drove off. "Should have kept your mouth shut, Trick." Everything went dark after that. The doctors said it was a miracle. I said it was pure spite. I woke up 2 days later, chest wrapped, throat dry, heart going nuclear with rage. The police asked what happened. I told them I got mugged. I didn't snitch. Not yet. Because I had one mission now. A mission that filled me more deeply than blood, oxygen, or food. Revenge. Revenge for that kid. Revenge for the man they thought they could kill and bury. Revenge for the good part of me they tried to shoot out of my chest. You can't hunt men like my old crew through normal means. They were ghosts in the streets, slippery, unpredictable, dangerous. But I knew them better than anyone. Their habits, their favorite places, their weaknesses. I knew where each of them would eventually crawl back to. I didn't attack right away. Revenge is a dish best served cold? Nah. Revenge is best served with preparation, petty creativity, and a dash of humor. So I planned. I healed. I trained. I prepared traps, disguises, fake identities. I stole from the thieves. And then I went after the first one. Diesel. Diesel loved his car more than he loved oxygen. A big black muscle car polished so much you could see your soul in it. He'd take it out late at night, cruising down the old cliff road where he could speed without cops noticing. So I made a little adjustment. I snuck into the garage where he stored it, lifted the car, cut the brake lines. Not completely, just enough for them to fail at the worst possible time. For 3 nights, I watched him drive safely. Then, on the 4th night, I gave him a little encouragement by loosening one more bolt. I watched from the hills as he sped like a man escaping his own demons. Halfway through the curve, he hit the brakes. They failed. The car spun, swerved, and flew off the cliff like a dying comet. Boom. Gone. Just like that. Did he suffer? Probably not. Did I feel guilty? No, because I remembered that kid. And every ounce of mercy I had was buried with him. Viper was paranoid. Locked windows, cameras, motion lights, always watching his back. But paranoia makes people predictable. I got into his house using an old backdoor key Viper used to brag about never replacing. Inside, I set up a trap, wired the doorknob of his bedroom to the main breaker box. Simple, quiet, brutal. A current strong enough to stop a heart, but not burn the house down. I waited outside in the bushes. Around midnight, he came home arguing with himself as usual. "Ain't nobody coming for me. Trick's dead! Trick's dead! He walked toward the door. I could almost hear his heartbeat from the yard. The moment he grabbed the metal doorknob, he got electrocuted. Viper convulsed, slammed into the wall, and dropped instantly. No explosion, no fire, no mess, just silence and justice. Ghost was the hardest. He wasn't just the mastermind of the gang, he was the one who shot me. I saved him for last. Not because it was practical, but because it was personal. Ghost didn't hide. He took over a small warehouse near the docks. He built a little empire dealing stolen weapons and fake IDs. He had guards, he had cameras, he had security dogs, but he didn't have me. I watched him for days, learned his patterns, his weaknesses, his roots. The night I made my move, the moon wasn't even visible. Perfect. I slipped through the shadows, climbed the roof, and entered through the ventilation duct. Cliché? Sure. Effective? Absolutely. Ghost was alone in his office counting money. I dropped behind him, quiet as death. Remember me? He froze, slowly turned. Trick, you're supposed to be dead! You tried. Now it's my turn. He reached for his gun. I slammed his hand against the table. We fought, hard. Desks overturned, glass shattered. He tried to bite me at one point. Finally, I wrapped a cord around his neck and held him down. Not choking him, just enough to still him. Do it, kill me! No, I'm not like you. He gasped in relief. But I don't need to kill you myself. I dragged him outside, tied him to a chair, lit the warehouse on fire with his own gasoline stash. Then I walked away. No dramatic stares, no one-liner, no classic villain ending. Just silence, flames, and justice. Ghost didn't get out. Nobody could have. And I finally felt free. I could have disappeared, started a new life, vanished like a shadow. But that kid's face still haunted me. Every night, every dream. So I went to his parents' house. I knocked on the door. The mother opened it, recognized me instantly. Fear washed over her face.
What do you want?
To tell you the truth. The father stepped out. Get off our property, now. I was there when your son died. Silence. Horrible silence. Then they let me in. And I told them everything. How it happened. Why it happened. What I did to the men responsible. The mother wept. The father stared at me with eyes filled with fire and grief. Do you expect forgiveness? No, I expect handcuffs. And that's exactly what I got. They called the cops. I didn't resist. Didn't speak. Didn't run. Because for the first time in my life, running didn't make sense anymore. So here I am. A cell. A cot. A window that doesn't open. You probably expect regret. Tears. A sob story. Nope. I'm smiling. Because justice didn't come from the law. It came from me. The guards think I'm crazy. My cellmate thinks I'm a hero. And the kids' parents? They send me a letter every year. Not forgiveness, not friendship. Just 3 words. Thank you anyway. I'll take it. If I could go back and change anything, well, maybe I'd have picked a career that didn't involve bullets, fire, and stupid friends. But life doesn't give do-overs. Only consequences. And mine are right here, written on these walls. Before I end this, the guard is yelling, "Lights out." Let me leave you with one thing. If you ever think about joining a gang, don't. Choose chess. Choose knitting. Choose underwater basket weaving. Literally anything else. Now do me a favor. I might be in prison, but I still need the clout. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Because even behind bars, I deserve a little love.